Thank you, Molly and Princeton Athletics. I'm very happy to introduce today's second class herald, Cat Sharpe. Cat has been sitting patiently throughout this ceremony, waiting for her chance to share a speech with all of you. See, she comes from Chicago, Illinois, where the Cubs taught her that the longest waits have the best payoffs. On campus, Cat studied politics and found a comedy-loving home in Fuzzy Dice Improv. I personally got to meet Cat sophomore year when we both joined the great Cannondale Elm Club. There, she strives every day to prove that improv comedy is a varsity sport. Cat's father and brother attended Princeton before her, but she asserts that this is not the reason for her great love of the school. Rather, Cat's Princeton spirit is based on her fervent belief that orange does go along with plenty of colors. In fact, her hair forces her to match with orange every day. I'm sorry for the cheap ginger joke, by the way, Cat. That was soulless of me. With that being said, Cat is one of the sharpest, kindest people I know. She's pretty darn funny too, so you are really in for a treat. Please welcome my friend, Cat Sharpe, to the stage.
Congratulations to the great class of 2018! It is such an honor to be up here sharing the stage with the man I call my president, Senator Booker. I am such a big fan. Are you gonna announce it here? Also, Chris Eisgruber is here, which is super cool. I know today is a day in which, with all the awards and nostalgia, imposter syndrome is in full force. As someone who's solidly an average third quintile with no certificates, I know the feeling well. Thank you. My parents don't agree with that. But I want to remind you that each and every one of us was accepted to Princeton for a reason. Admissions bet that we would bring something incredible and unique to this campus. Maybe you're an amazing artist or athlete or scientist. Maybe you dedicate your time to doing charitable work. Maybe your dad went here. Princeton saw great potential in us, and that's why we're here today. Hey, Dad. Since we were admitted, it's been a wild ride for the past 4 or so years. It doesn't feel real that we're about to graduate. I keep checking Tiger Hub to make sure that I actually did everything right. What if I didn't actually pass Bridges to get my STL? What if somehow I'm politics BSE and my 31 classes aren't gonna cut it? Can someone honor code me for this speech? But tomorrow, we'll take up our degrees and with them the lessons and principles Princeton has worked so hard to instill in us. Then we'll walk through those gates and never look back, except for almost exactly a year from now at reunions. I was having some trouble writing this speech because one person can't encapsulate the experiences of so many different, smart, and hardworking people. Also because no one would give me the writing center appointment. But if there's one thing I learned in my writing sem, it's this. In this speech, I will argue that Princeton is the best damn place of all because it's given us the tools and resources to take risks. And it's through those risks that we've been able to learn about ourselves and grow as people. To prove this claim, I will use anecdotes, sweeping generalizations, and a college ranking, only the one from US News and World Report. I don't know what my motive is because I never figured out what that was. I'll start with the anecdote because it will give me the chance to quote someone far more intelligent and well-respected than myself, rather than say anything original, just like Precept. The first Princeton lesson I learned came from my advisor, Tim Vasson. Tim was an amazing advisor, not just because he exceeded the high bar set up for advisors like knowing my name and knowing what PDF meant, but also because he knew how to really reach and talk to students. In the first big meeting with all of his new advisees, he told a room full of 18-year-olds and one 30-year-old hockey player. He told us to, quote, be promiscuous, academically. He told us, quote, cheat on your prospective majors. He wanted us to push ourselves academically and try all that Princeton had to offer. Just try new things. And I think that's a message that even the Anscombe Society can get behind. Tim encouraged me to take classes I might have not normally taken, like econ and journalism and hustles and hustlers, a class that the Anscombe Society does not support. Could I have maybe been more adventurous and taken a coast class? No. We came here because we knew Princeton was the best academically. But the lessons Princeton had to teach us extended far beyond our classes in fluid mechanics and experimental methods in politics and English 400, touching books. Princeton gave us character. It gave us the tools to take risks by challenging us to always be better. Better at writing, better at researching, better at crying. Princeton taught us to be afraid of nothing, except for maybe sharing a cup and getting Mensch B. It taught us perseverance, to keep pushing forward even when the world is falling down around us, either metaphorically or literally with trees. It taught us to stand up and fight for the things that we love. And we don't love anything here more than late meal. It taught us persistence in pursuit of our goals because it showed us that if we got turned down from one dance group, we could audition for another 10. And if that didn't work out, then we could join a non-audition group. And if they kicked us out for just writhing on the ground, we could try to start our own rhythmic floor writhing group last minute senior year if we just got 20 signatures from current students. So please, find me after this speech before you walk through the gates. I really need this. Princeton, too, has taken some calculated risks by teaching us some unrealistic things about the world off campus, and I mean even further than just Forbes. The university threw a couple $1,000s at me, and I did some summer research on what the real world is like, and I have some shocking results to report. A cappella isn't actually the most popular genre of music. Sunday is generally not considered a fun day unless you're like really into Jesus. And this is the biggest one, the most shocking. Candles aren't illegal. Shocking, I know. And even despite my shocking findings that I detailed in a 100-page book out now in only one library near you, I know that we're gonna kick ass out in the real world. Just like the alumni before us, sitting among us right now might be a future Supreme Court justice, or a Nobel Prize winner, or maybe even a president, and his lead criminal investigator. I want to leave you with two final thoughts. The first is this: keep taking risks outside of Princeton, not just with the stocks you buy or the mergers you make or the companies you acquire, but also with the jobs you take and the passions you pursue. Yes, maybe that nurse at McCosh was wrong when she insisted you take a pregnancy test even though you came in for a broken leg. But maybe she did see that through some risky decision-making, you would burn through all your time and money on your baby, except instead of a human child, it's the startup you've been dreaming of since freshman year. And hopefully Princeton has also given you an amazing community of people who will continue to support you, friends and potential investors alike. And the very last thing I want to say is this. I pledge my honor that I have not violated the honor code during this class day speech. Thank you so much. Let's totally grab a meal sometime.